Welcome everybody to episode number 68 of Gaming Culture Radio. I'm your host Tyler, joined as always by our three co-hosts. Let's start with Mike. How you doing today?
All right. Happy birthday to me.
Oh, is it your birthday? Happy birthday.
Let me say,
Mike. Not yet, but
happy
almost.
birthday, buddy.
Yes, happy birthday.
Well, it's not
Happy
even
birthday, dear Mike.
Not quite yet.
Birthday to you. Yeah, it's on Saturday.
Okay, well, I probably won't see you or talk to you till then, so I say happy birthday to you now.
Thanks, brothers.
Yes.
What's up with you, Tyler?
Oh, not much.
Baking a cake.
You're reminding me. You're reminding me of Trump, like telling everybody when his birthday is, like 800 times, so they don't remember.
Happy birthday.
But
Announcing
anyway.
saying happy birthday to himself on
on
Twitter.
On Twitter, yeah. So
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So anyway,
I don't know if that really
I just
happened,
got one
but it
word.
sounds real.
Sad.
yeah, I don't know if that
Are you calling
actually.
me Trump?
I don't know if it actually happened, but I wouldn't be surprised. So.
Are you calling me Trump, sir? Because I will get my glove.
Also joining us is Graham. How are you doing today?
I am doing amazing, and for one major reason is I was able to secure a pre-order of the SNES Classic.
Well,
It was a
everyone on
mission
that
and a
birthday-
half, but I got one, and that's
Alright.
all that matters, and life can continue on now.
Sweet. Very nice. And also joining us is Eugene, I think, who also got one.
Yes. So I'm doing mediocre. It's a mediocre week. But
Yeah.
I was able to, at 12:15 a.m. sometime earlier this week, I think Sunday, secure that pre-order as well. So, happy.
Nice.
Now
So,
everyone else can get one too that would like one.
good luck. So, to join in the conversation, head on over to Facebook and join the Gaming Culture Radio forums. When you're there, you can submit questions to be read on the show. If they're read on the show, you're automatically entered to win one of our monthly giveaways, which we'll be doing next week on the show. And for all the latest and all your gaming news, including everything from Gamescom this week, head on over to cultureofgaming.com. Over there, you can find everything on Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, and PC, and catch up on everything that came down from Gamescom this week and anything we might miss coming up on the news, which will start now. Xbox One X pre-orders, right? Xbox One X pre-orders sold out in less than a day, according to Microsoft. I was lucky enough to grab one because I did it right after the conference. I was actually still at work on Sunday and pre-ordered it on Amazon. So, Graham, I think you got one too, right? Or two?
Two, but I'm going to be getting rid of at least one. But yes, I was able to secure one as well. When these things happen, even with the classic SNES, it's a mad rush. You're just going to all these websites and you're searching here, and you forget a password. And by the time you remember the password, it's sold out. Like it's really frustrating, but it's definitely chaotic, and it was good. I got one.
Nice.
Definitely chaotic and good, huh? All right.
It at least had a big enough window. I mean, it was up on Amazon day one for a couple hours. And then Walmart and Best Buy, Target, it seemed like, is up there for all day. Then Amazon it picked up again today. I saw that it was available again for a few more hours. So it seems like everyone that did want to get one probably actually got one. So
Yeah, but I also think that all the talk of like nobody wants this and all that type of thing can stop.
Mm-hmm.
Like this sold out in a day.
Yeah.
So or less.
But
than
who
a day.
who said nobody wants this?
A lot of people. A lot of people are saying this
I-
isn't necessary. It's nobody has 4K yet. All that type of thing.
Cheese isn't necessary on a hamburger, but you put it on there anyways.
Yeah. Cheese isn't
Yeah.
$500 either.
Well,
But
it depends on how much cheese you buy.
but,
Yeah, you can get some fancy cheese, but I don't know.
what kind of cheese are you buying that's $500?
so
It's special. It's got truffles in it.
all right.
Like,
Homemade cheese.
Truffles and diamonds.
It's not the Cheese Network, guys. Wrong podcast.
Oh, shut up, Graham.
Is there a
So-
cheese podcast?
I'm sure there
Probably
is.
find-
I'm
we
sure
can find
there
this
is.
information.
I think they have a
Oh,
vacancy.
there it is.
We gotta Google this.
I'm sure there is,
Just
and-
just before we get past the cheese thing, you remember how they were doing counterfeit cheese in Italy
No.
and shipping them out? There is a market for expensive cheese.
Okay, so back to gaming.
I would say I learned something, but I clearly did not. But
Alright.
I was just going to say, before my train of thought got lost,
Okay.
is you're talking about people are saying that there's no need for this because they don't have 4K.
Mm-hmm.
like there is ongoing argument if you already have like a good system, is it worth it when there's other things you can spend your money on? Like I'll bring it up in another issue coming up later in news or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I can see where people are coming from. So it's basically your people's choice.
Mm-hmm. To me, and I'll tell you right now what my rebuttal is going to be, Graham. So, would you rather maximize your $1,500 TV or your $60 game? And that's my argument. So, I bought the TV specifically for 4K, and I can't get a lot of broadcast TV in 4K yet, but I can get games in it.
Yeah.
So, why not? And
I don't know.
And I think when you're trying to maximize like a game or two by doing like VR, because I think that's what you're going to go towards later, it's a game or two or the TV you invested in. So that's, for me, that's the argument. That's why I'm sticking with it. But and I know some other people are going to see differently. That's fine. But I already bought the 4K TV, so why not take advantage of it?
Watch the Digital Foundry YouTube video. They showed a lot of new games that were upgraded to the 4K, and they actually look very good. A few of them had a little bit of issues, like the new F1 racing game, which I think that's going to be a sleeper hit or underrated game, the F1 racing game, because it is going to be in 4K on the Xbox One X. But they had some frame issues, because they're only running at so many frames. But other than that, the screens look great and very detailed looking.
Nice. Yeah, and I was sold when I saw the E3 conference, the Microsoft conference, and I saw Assassin's Creed and I saw Forza. I was sold right there. Because I was broadcasting 4K and I got to actually see it the way it's going to look. Mm-hmm. So, I was sold. But, that's me. Anyway, Destiny 2. That game comes out in just a couple weeks now. So, we're only a couple weeks now from the rush beginning. Actually, it kind of already began with Madden, but if you like Destiny 1 and you like the strikes, strikes can be a little different in Destiny 2. They are independent of the campaign and they focus on huge set pieces that players are going to want to play 20 to 40 times, according to Bungie. That's a departure from the first one where strikes were kind of just an extension of the story. And you saw a lot of the same areas. And a lot of, you just fought a big boss at the end and you were kind of done. But they focus, it's the other part is that they said they're focusing on like really cool villains with interesting stories that you actually want to learn about during the strike. So, sounds good. If they deliver on it, I think that's going to be awesome.
I like that, because strikes got pretty boring and repetitive, because if you never played the strikes from the first one, they basically were replaying a mission from the story. You know, the boss mission mainly. Replaying those, and
somebody agrees with me.
Yeah, I mean they're rehash. I mean they did make it more difficult, and you did get the loot at the end, and you got to play with some random people online, which is nice. But other than that, they're rehash. So I liked how they are making them their own kind of unique stories. That kind of makes me think that we might get like maybe monthly or bi-monthly updates to the strikes.
I wouldn't hold your breath for that, but it'd be nice if it happened.
Yeah.
I think they're still set on their model for the, kind of the DLC and then expansion, DLC then expansion, and then Destiny 3. So, well, we'll see if they vary from that, but they made a ton of money doing it that way the first time, so I doubt they're going to go too far away. On the same note, if you digitally pre-order Destiny, the digital preload is now available on Xbox One, and you can get it on PS4 next week. So, if you have Xbox One, check on there. You can now preload the game so it's ready to go on the 6th of September when the game releases, or September 5th at 12 Eastern. So that's it. Did you have something, Mike?
Oh, I was just thinking, I was having a random thought about delivery. KFC needs to start delivering again.
Again? Why would they stop?
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm hungry.
All right. So, Super Nintendo Classic Mini coming soon has a rewind feature. So if you get stuck in a game, if you've ever played the Forza series, it's very familiar or similar to that, where you can just rewind a little bit and then pick her up where you left off. You don't lose any game progress or anything. You just, if you mess up a part, rewind it and try it again. So
that's going to come in handy with games like Donkey Kong Country or I think Star Fox even will come in handy if you make a mistake. And I don't know if you guys ever played the Disney Afternoon Collection, but it definitely came in handy with some of those old NES style games. So I can definitely see where this will be awesome.
Nice.
And it's a controller saver for sure.
Oh yeah.
For sure. So
I used to be so bad about that. Tyler can tell you. I must have went through about 10 360 controllers, and then all of a sudden I calmed down and I
Hard on
haven't broken the
controllers,
controller
right?
since. I found other things to break. Well,
that-
look who's talking, dude. You don't have one controller where both of your sticks work. Come on.
They're faulty controllers, man. It
Yeah,
has
sure.
nothing to do with me.
No, not at all. You can hear the plastic crying when you're playing NHL.
Listen, I play with heart, man. Sometimes controllers can't handle my heart.
I guess not.
All right. Up next.
But no.
Yeah,
Sorry.
go ahead, Graham.
I would say you guys keep talking about this Super Nintendo Classic, and
Yeah.
I could just see this gonna be like Christmas, and like I'm 6 years old and playing. Like I can't wait to wrap my hands around that little controller and play the old SNES games. Like the nostalgia, like that is when I was in my prime of playing like video games. I didn't have work, didn't have school. Like that was my life. It was great.
Didn't have
like,
school.
You were an orphan
well,
living in an alley in Canada. You know.
maybe I had school. I just didn't care about school then.
All right. So, you want to know what I think, Graham?
What?
I think it's going to be just like Eugene with the NES Classic last year.
I
think you're going to love it for a week, and then you're going to see all these new shiny things that are from 2017.
I know, but
And
Super
you're gonna
Mario
play
World,
them.
like wow, Super Mario World, Link to the Past. Those
Okay.
are two.
Now, I
amazing-
will say, I will probably get a lot more gameplay out of my SNES Classic just because, as Graham was saying, I have a lot more nostalgia with the SNES rather than the NES. Like, I have tons of NES games, but the SNES was where my interest in gaming definitely peaked. So,
well, more than A, B buttons, right? You had your
Right.
X and Y. Like there's
and
more
then the
things
stories,
to do.
the narratives, it actually had actual dialogue involved. So it was, and plus it comes with two controllers, so you can play with somebody else too.
Yeah, that's a huge thing. And another thing too is I'm gonna be able to play it on my 65-inch 4K TV and like HD graphics. Like that's gonna look weird. Like from the TV
guys-
that I played it on, like back when I had a Super Nintendo,
Yeah.
like what difference that's gonna be.
But
Yeah.
is it going to have HDR, Graham? Is the SNES Classic going to have HDR?
My TV don't
Is
have
it
HDR,
real?
so
Is it real
it's
4K
okay.
or is
I
it
don't
just
have,
upscaled?
I don't have HDR capable TV.
It's not
so-
true HDR. Horrible
Fake
console.
HDR.
You guys talking about all the old school game stuff like that reminded me of a cruel, cruel, cruel joke. You guys remember Pitfall?
I
Oh
remember
yeah,
Super
back on the Atari. Yeah.
Yeah. There was this cruel joke that people would tell people who have never played a game before that it was finishable. You know, so Joe Schmuck says, Joe Schmuck plays it. Friends tell him, you can finish the game. You just got to keep going, and it'll end. Okay, so they go to the right, and they go 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 and they finally end up dying like 4 hours later, and then they go, hey dude, I thought you said it was completable. And they're like, oh, but you got to go to the left. So they do it for 4 more hours and never get there. It's terrible.
I thought you were gonna like go into a thing where like if you jump down an actual pit in real life, it was like Pitfall the game. I mean, you have collectibles. I thought you were gonna go dark with it. I'm like, man, I didn't know that happened in the '80s. Kids jumping down pits.
Oh,
Okay,
might-
speaking of
might have.
nostalgia, someone
Okay.
back me up. The TV show Reboot. You guys know this, right?
No.
Somebody know this?
No.
No? Wow. Maybe it was a dream.
Is this like Canada TV?
CTV.
like- That's the first time you ever not Megatron, Gigabyte. I don't remember. They're all like computer terms and stuff like that. And then a game would just come out of nowhere in like real world, and then you would have to play this game in like real life. But it was a cartoon, so obviously it wasn't real life. So
Have you-
No, I'm gonna have to find this information and get it to us on the Facebook group because I'm interested.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Have you, Rami? Tell us the truth. Have you partaken today?
Probably.
So-
I have not partaken.
Okay, very good.
Okay, so one more thing about retro, and I know that I'm holding it. You guys remember Nick Arcade?
Yes.
Yes.
I love Nick Arcade. That was an awesome show. So that was a real life show where you played arcade games and Super Nintendo games on TV for prizes, and then you would actually be put into a video game. Is that you sure that's not where you're thinking of, Graham?
You did get no. Come on, man. I know what I'm.
Yeah, at the very end, if you made it to the very end, you're like put into this VR kind of fake looking. It's probably just a green screen.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I remember
you
that.
have to jump over orbs and climb ladders and stuff.
Yeah.
I like that. I always wanted to be on the show when I was little. But anyway, Nick Arcade, look it up.
I want to be on Double Dare.
Everyone wanted to be on Double.
Yeah, I think so. All right.
I wanted to be on Double Dare, so there.
Okay. So, easy transition into the Crew 2. That's going to be available on March 16th, 2018. If you pre-order the game, if you're one of the 6 people that do that, it'll be available on March 13th. Actually, the Crew 2 looks kind of fun. So, I don't think I'll get it right away, but it looks like a significant departure and improvement on the first one. So.
Yeah, like they were really ambitious for the Crew 1, and like people were stoked and excited, and then it just disappeared. Nobody talked about it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that's out," and like, "Oh yeah, now it's free," and just nobody was playing it. Like,
yeah.
It's only because it was just a driving simulator. I mean, you sit there for almost real-time hours driving through major cities in the United States, and it's like, shit, if I wanted to do this, I would just go there, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they push that, too, as their big selling point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you want to pre-order it, it's available in Standard, Gold, and Deluxe editions, and again, it comes out next March. So Gwent, if you're a fan of Gwent, it's getting its own single-player story mode, which is called Throne Breakers. That was announced this week at Gamescom, and that's coming later this year. No concrete release date, but it's exploring new parts of the Witcher universe in the story, so kind of cool.
Still waiting for it on iPad.
Yep. And the game we're still waiting for, too, is Shenmue 3. Apparently, it's still a thing, despite our speculation back at E3 time. But there was a teaser trailer shown at Gamescom this week that proved that it's for real, and it's still kind of sort of on track to meet its late 2018 release target, which they pushed the game back to earlier this year. Anybody still believe this is actually being released?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, the director spoke towards the game. Spoke towards the trailer, and if you watch the trailer, you know it doesn't really have gameplay, but it kind of has it kind of shows the story and it shows the character models, and like the game looks beautiful if you guys have seen the trailer, but a lot of fire about one thing in the trailer, and that's the facial animations. I don't know if you guys have had the chance to see the trailer at least.
No,
I have not.
But you know, though, I'm not going to have a fit over it when it's still over a year away from release.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
there's just so much in between, like in that void, that you're just going to forget about it, so you might as well just wait till it is a thing and it comes out.
My point is they have plenty of time to fix it. So
for sure.
Don't have a fit over it. Like it just released yesterday, you know?
And that's what the guy said. He's like, this trailer is an unfinished product. The character models are still early in development, so they haven't worked on the facial animations. Which, I mean, what do you expect? It's a Kickstarter game. It's not a huge AAA title like Call of Duty or Uncharted or anything like that. You're not going to have superb graphics. And if you're buying it for superb graphics and things like that, then you're buying it for the wrong reason, personally.
Well, exactly, and plus everybody thinks they're a critic now, right? So
yeah.
And that's why people are dismissive of real critics of movies or video games, because they want their own opinion to matter just as much. So, whatever. But anyway,
this reminds me of like a Last Guardian scenario.
I was actually thinking that too, and I don't know if it's going to be quite that long. I do think this game will come out, but it's...
I mean, I mostly mean the end result.
Oh, maybe. We'll see. I mean, I hope it's good, because a lot of people were really excited for it. So I hope it's good, but a lot of people were really excited for Last Guardian too. So, a couple more stories to get through. Microsoft announced that due to, well, they kind of, I should say, eased some of the concerns that some fans had about download sizes for 4K games. Games like Forza 7 are going to be 100 gigs. Call of Duty is going to be over 120. And that's a ton for one game, even if you have a 1 terabyte hard drive. So they ease some of the concerns by saying that they're going to have cloud storage for the games, and only what's absolutely necessary to be on your hard drive is going to be on your hard drive. The rest will be saved in the cloud and accessed there. So that's pretty nice, I think, and it makes me wonder how much they're going to take advantage of this before I run out and buy a 4 terabyte external.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to hear more about this.
Oh yeah,
to
for
me
sure.
Like, that sounds to me like there's a company that needs to get some really talented programmers in there and get some sort of new file compression going that doesn't slow everything down.
Yeah.
I'm just worried about net neutrality and what it means to, because that sounds like a lot of bandwidth usage if you're having to access that cloud constantly to access these game files. So who knows how that'll work out?
Yeah.
Or what if you're offline? How does it work if you're offline?
Yeah, that's true. And if you have a cap, if you have a data cap, are you going to be able to have the option to not use it?
Yeah.
To just download the entire game. So,
anything like this, it arises all these issues, and like people in other countries, like even Canada, some places like their bandwidth just can't handle it and stuff like that. So like, I don't want this to be something that segregates people, but they want it to be more advanced and stuff like this. So it kind of puts them in a hard place.
Yeah.
They just need to find like a happy golden, like
It's tough because we're in that spot right now where the technology is super advanced and fast, but not everybody has access to those speeds yet.
Yeah.
Or they just don't want to pay for them yet because they're still kind of pricey.
Yeah, it's not affordable to them, and they don't think it's that big of a deal. But when they realize they get it and they can watch something on Netflix without it stopping and then like loading for it plays again, and they're like,
hated that.
"Wow, look at this world that I've been missing out on."
I know, right? It's like TV.
Yeah, and like sometimes for $20 or maybe $50 a month to not have to deal with that annoyance, it's worth it.
Oh, for me, it was totally worth it to take the higher download speed and have no cap.
Yep.
That was easily worth the extra money. So that was for me though. But all right, and finally, just for Graham, I know he's super excited, and so are a few other people about Bethesda's.
Come on, Tyler. It's easy.
Bethesda.
All right.
Bethesda.
I think it's a big deal. I think it's a big deal too.
All right, at least 25 other people. Sorry.
Did you see that?
So
I
I'm
said
just
it right
kidding.
the first time.
Yes, we're proud.
Thank you.
But no, a lot of people are looking forward to Bethesda's VR lineup, and I think a lot of people are counting on it to really bring VR into mainstream in terms of gaming. But all the big titles have release dates now, starting with Doom, November 1st, Skyrim, November 17th, and Fallout 4 VR on December 12th.
Now, Doom was December 1st.
Oh, was it December 1st? I'm sorry. December 1st.
Yes, December 1st. So Skyrim is the first one.
Okay, so Skyrim 1st, November 17th, Doom December 1st, and Fallout 4 VR December 12th. So if you are wanting to buy the VR headset and purchase these games for a second time or third, knock yourself out.
Well, so I think the biggest news is the PSVR.
Doom, so we're getting
Doom, Skyrim, and
That doesn't surprise me because we saw them at the PlayStation conference.
Yes.
So that's an automatic. We saw when they went through their VR portion, they showed Doom VR at PlayStation conference. Yeah. And they showed Skyrim VR at the PlayStation conference.
Did they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only VR game they showed at Bethesda's was Fallout.
Yeah. So the big thing about this, I think this will boost sales of the HTC Vive, and I think this is a way of HTC Vive having a leg up on the Oculus Rift. So I think it's going to be time for Oculus Rift to make some big announcements, something to counter this. Because if not, they're going to get left behind. And this is like Microsoft and Facebook owns this as well, right? So there's a lot of money there behind it. So I don't know, especially if they don't take on these titles as well. Now you're going to make people who want to play these games, and there are a lot of people out there who want to explore the Skyrim world in VR, the Fallout 4 world in VR, and take part in Doom, like in Hell in VR. So this is huge, I think, if HTC Vive is the only one to have exclusive rights to this. And for like Bethesda talking about they're teaming up with Microsoft and Scorpio, and they're going to like harness the power of this machine. There's got to be some big announcement coming with VR, with Microsoft, Oculus Rift, some add-on to it for the Xbox One X or whatever. There's
Yeah.
got to be something.
I don't think we'll see that till next year, though.
Yeah,
I think we'll see that at E3 next year.
Yeah, I think you're right on that one.
Yeah. By the way, did you guys see just a couple other real quick news things? Did you guys see the tweet that Sony sent out this week?
That something big is coming?
Yes, where they have the red towel or whatever curtain over the top of something that looks like a console.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was sitting on a table. They had this red blanket over it, and it looks very much like it's covering up a console standing on its end. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if at PlayStation Experience this year we see the unveil of the PlayStation 5.
So they've already revealed what it was, and it was what most people thought. It was the Gran Turismo PlayStation.
Well, that's stupid. Why would you do that? I'm sorry.
And it was on the, and I didn't think much about it because it's on the PlayStation UK Twitter. It wasn't on the official PlayStation account. And everyone knew that it was going to be Gran Turismo Edition PlayStation. But a lot of people were like, "Oh, it's a new console and it's a new PS Vita," and I'm like, no, because you can clearly tell it looks like a vehicle showroom, where it's sitting, where the lights are sitting and everything. It looks like something a car would be sitting on.
Don't you think you should have informed Tyler of this?
Yeah, well, I didn't bring it up before the show, but when I read the article, though, the article was like, "Oh, this is definitely going to be a PlayStation 5."
No, yeah, see that was the. I'm like, man, these people are looking. If it was gonna, they wouldn't have showcased it on Twitter like that. I don't think it was PS5. I think they would have just waited.
Well, they might have teased it though. I thought it actually made some sense. Why not tease it the week that One X pre-orders go up? And that's why I thought maybe it would be, because that's the type of thing Sony would totally do, is tease it the week One X pre-orders go up. So
be like, it's an HD DVD player. We were wrong.
So,
it was actually really good technology. We just
But that's thank you, Gene, for clearing that up. I didn't see the follow up on that to clarify.
Yeah, I didn't either.
But,
so it couldn't have been very big news, right?
Yeah,
it just dropped off.
So, but I still think we're gonna see a reveal of PlayStation 5 at latest E3 next year.
Definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
They have to start doing some damage control, because if this keeps going out of hand and people keep buying Xbox One X and stuff like that, they're gonna kind of fall behind.
If the One X comes out and companies like IGN are giving it 9.5, Sony has to do something. So, but
the tally
go ahead.
right now is 118 games that are upgraded for
So chances are you already own a handful of games that are going to work in 4K on that system, without having to buy anything this fall. So, we've already talked about, we're going to go back and play Halo 5 when it comes out, because that's one of them.
Yeah, and some of my games in my back catalog that I haven't chance to finish or put any time into it, they're probably going to have this capability as well. So now I'm like, well, now's a great time for me to play that game.
Well,
that
exactly,
I never
like Quantum Break and Recore, games I never finished.
Recore really got a bad deal.
It did, and then wait till Red Dead 3 comes out next year in all of that glory, and be on 4K on the Xbox. So that'll be pretty cool. So, all right. Anything else, gentlemen?
Not as far as news goes.
Yes.
Right.
One more thing.
Sorry, go.
One more thing. So, I looked it up, guys, and there actually is a cheese podcast. It's called the Joy of Home Cheesemaking. So if you're interested, the Joy of Home Cheesemaking podcast, and is based out of like you were talking about, Mike, out of Italy. 2 factories in Italy. Debbie Driscoli, Debbie Driscoli. She's known for her cheese. So listen out for that.
I would hope so.
That is our sister podcast there. So
I wonder if they easily get off track and start talking about video games.
Video games, yeah.
Yeah, right.
We need to invite Debbie Driscoli as a guest on the show.
I wonder if
talk about some cheesy games.
Yeah. I wonder if one little shiny thing sends them into chaos too.
Probably. She's
What?
probably a Nintendo fan.
No, but seriously, I'm surprised you guys never heard about this because I saw this on the news for like a week
Oh, boy.
straight, where they were out there and they had these big wheels of cheese that they age forever, right? And then they sell them for like 25K a piece, and they're like the size of tires. And so these other guys are, the mafia, whatever, is making up and making it look exactly the same and counterfeiting it and sending it out. And the Italian government's got everybody under investigation. It was like Cheesegate and stuff like that.
I've heard about that for olive oil. That some companies did that with olive oil.
But if you want to relate it to gaming, there is plenty of cheesing going on in games online. So there.
Okay. Graham, let's
Okay.
go to you with what we can get in
Please.
stores.
Well,
Shut up.
there is a ton of new releases coming at us next week. And for those of you that listened to last week's podcast, I wasn't lying. The onslaught has begun. Now, the majority of these new releases, 19 to be exact, will be playable on the PS4. Now, I will go through all the PlayStation 4 releases and tell you what other systems you'll be able to enjoy that specific title on, if any. And then after that, I'll go through the next system's releases. So with that being said, let's get to it. We have Rock of Ages 2. Now, this is an awesome title. Bigger and Bolder. Bolder,
Wow.
B-O-U-L-D-R. Get it? Yeah, okay. So that releases on the 28th, and it's also will be available for the Xbox One on the 29th, as well as the PC. Next up, we have Everybody's Golf, released on the 29th. Then we have Ark Survival Evolved, the 29th, and this game will also be playable or released on the Xbox One. And then we have Yakuza Kiwami, which released on the 29th. And then we have
You
Windjammers.
nailed it.
Yeah, I think I did too. Not bad, eh? And then we have Redoubt or I don't know, however that is. And that is also available on Xbox One and Nintendo Switch, coming out on the 29th. Then we have Warrior All-Stars, releasing on the 29th, and will also be released on PC. Then we have Resident Evil Revelations, releases on the 29th, and will be available on Xbox One. Next, we have Dead Alliance, releasing on the 29th as well, which will also be released on Xbox One and PC. And then we have some DLC for XCOM 2. This is called War of the Chosen. This releases on the 29th and will be available on Xbox One and PC. And then we have Spark VR. This is a PSVR game specifically. Releases on the 29th. Then we have Pillars of Eternity, which release complete edition, releases on the 29th and also releases on the Xbox One. Then we have the Metronomicon, releases the 29th and will also release on Xbox One. Then we have Abduction, releases the 29th, just for PlayStation. Then we have Surf World Series, released 29th, will also release on Xbox One and PC, but that release will be the 30th. Then we have Absolver, which released on the 29th and will also be on PC. Almost there, guys. And then we got Toho or whatever, Buto 5, First Battle, which releases on the 31st. Then we have Last of June, which has nothing to do with what month it is, which releases on the 31st. And last but not least, for PlayStation, we have Life is Strange Before the Storm Episode 1, which releases on the 31st and will be available on Xbox One and PC. Now, that was a lot of PS4 games, so let's go over to the Xbox One exclusives. We have Killing Floor 2 releasing on the 29th. Mike just talked about it. Recore Definitive Edition releases on the 29th. Then we have Feral Fury releases on the 30th. Then X-Morph Defense, which releases on the 30th. And this game will also be released on PC. And then the final two games releasing September 1st, we have Songbringer and White Noise 2. So over to the Nintendo Switch. We have really highly anticipated title. They showed it off at E3 and everyone got excited. It was a partnership between Ubisoft and I guess Nintendo. It's Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. And that one releases on the 29th. And then we have Azuri Striker Gunvolt Striker Pack releases on the 31st. And last but not least, This title, I think, has already been out on the Xbox and PlayStation. I'm sure Eugene can let me know. And this is Sonic Mania, releasing on the PC on the 29th.
Yeah, it's been out on console. I reviewed it last week, so check out my review on it. See
There you
what
go.
I think.
Check it out.
I gave it an 8.0. Spoilers.
Spoiler 8.0. Okay, so that's it. Like I said, there's a ton, and the onslaught has begun. It's going to be like this for a while, so I hope you guys have been saving your money, or if not, you make wise decisions on what you're spending your money on. So let's throw it on over Mike. Maybe you got some deals to lessen the blow on your wallet.
Whoa, Graham.
Whoa,
I'm upset.
Whoa, I must.
You forgot a title for the Switch, a big one. Mario plus Rabbids.
No, he said that.
What?
Did you?
What?
Man, you on drugs?
What?
I was way out there. You must
Wow.
have. I must have. Did you say it right? Did I think you were talking about a Japanese title or something?
No,
I'll
I
shut
heard
up.
him.
Maybe you
Okay.
should listen to the podcast, Eugene.
I don't know. I might need to. I'll get on that stream on Twitch right now.
All right. So yes, I did not miss that one, and there's all the titles.
Oh, you just lost a timeout on that one.
Yeah.
All right. So check this out. Everybody get your air fresheners out because we've got the September games free with gold for Xbox. So we've got Forza 5. We've got Oxenfree. And then on the 360, we've got Hydro Thunder Hurricane and Battlefield 3. So, yeah. Battlefield 3, sure. If you've never gotten down with Battlefield 3, it was great at the time, but 4 and 1 have such better mechanics that it's not exactly worth revisiting at this point. So, yeah. And PlayStation, of course, does not have their list out yet. They have the old stuff from this month still. So, Just Cause 3, Assassin's Creed, Freedom Cry, Super Motherload, Snake Ball, Downwell, level 22. All right. So, for deals. All right. So, Xbox One S wireless controller in white, newest model is $35.99 at Anton Line via eBay. It's still holding strong. So, like I said last week, they're $35 right now. They're normally 60 something. You might as well grab them before the price goes back up and doesn't come back down. Digital via Amazon right now. Batman Arkham Knight is $10. So if you were, ever on the edge about that one, now's the time. Elder Scrolls Skyrim Special Edition is $24.99 via Amazon right now. Dishonored Definitive Edition, Xbox One, $19.99 via Best Buy. So that's not terrible at all. And if you've never had a chance to play Fallout 3, it's $3.74 right now, digital via Amazon. Seagate Game Drive for Xbox, 2 terabyte, Halo Wars 2 edition is $69.99 via Amazon right now too. And Madden NFL MUT 5850 Madden's Point Pack is $44.69 via Newegg right now. And that's just a little better than the EA Access. Also, right now you can get a $100 Xbox gift card for $90 via Amazon, email delivery. It's similar to the Walmart promo, so that's $10 free money. So if you're in the market, get it. Moving on to PS4. Funny enough, Destiny pre-owned is $2.99 at GameStop right now. Whatever. Borderlands Handsome Collection is $14.99, $11.99 GCU at Best Buy right now for the PS4. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege is $24.99 at the PlayStation Store. PS4 500 gigabyte console trade-in value is $160.55 via Amazon right now. So that's not terrible. I mean, it could be worse. And lastly, we've got Persona 5, $39.99 at Amazon right now as well. There is only one very small thing for Nintendo in general. I was looking at the Switch page. PayPal is $5 off a $50 Nintendo card right now until August 31st. So you guys got plenty of time to move on that one if you want. So that is going to do it for me. Eugene, the floor is yours.
Question time.
Question. So let's start off with somebody that we haven't heard in a while. So on Discord, we still have our Discord channel. We'll put it up on our Facebook group again if you haven't joined. But Raz
What up, Raz?
asked a question. So he had some issues with the recent outage of Xbox this week, and I think a few of you guys did too. With the recent outage for Xbox Live during Gamescom, do you guys think digital download is still the way everything should go in the future? So digital or physical?
It scares me, actually. The fact that something like that can happen and I lose complete access to my games. But it's not even only digital. The fact that if I own the physical disc, which I did, I was trying to play Halo 5, because they do an authentication to make sure that it's a legit game or you own the game or something like that. This would not work for me. So I couldn't play any game on my Xbox.
Graham, that's because you do game sharing.
Okay.
Also,
that's because I do game sharing. Well,
Yep.
Thanks. That's good to know.
Yeah. Also, if you just would have set your Xbox to be offline, you could have played pretty much any game you wanted to. But I wanted to play Madden, and that's online, so it's not going to do me any good until everything is working anyways.
Well, I want to play Halo 5 online anyway, so yeah.
Yeah, but if you've got a single-player game you want to play, you just set your networking to offline and you're good to go.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was good to know. Where were you guys when I needed you?
Well, no, it was really frustrating for me because I'm excited to play Madden. I was sitting at work all day, and I was annoying people because I kept being like, "Is it 5 yet? I just want to go play Madden."
Yeah,
and
that's the worst too. When you get all excited and you ready, and then it don't work, or you buy a new game and they're having server issues. That's so frustrating.
Which EA is well known for, but they actually didn't. It was just on Xbox side. So. And I thought it was on my side at first. Like, I uninstalled the game and reinstalled it and did all this stuff. Because I thought maybe something got messed up because it was the first time I was trying to play the game after the trial. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I thought maybe something on my end. So did all that, and then I looked it up and saw, oh, it's down. Fantastic. And of course, it comes up like 20 minutes after I go to bed. So, because that's the way the world works.
It didn't come up until 1 a.m.
I remember looking, I read an article at, I don't know, it said it had been up for like 7 hours, and it was at like 7:30 in the morning or something. I don't know, it could be wrong.
I promise you it didn't come up until almost 1.
Okay. But still, that's just the way things work for me, is within a short amount of time. Mm-hmm. After I can't play anymore, and now it works fine. But
yeah. But to answer his question, I'm kind of more leaning toward, it's convenient and kind of lazy that you don't have to get up off your couch and go physically change the disc. You could actually go onto your dashboard and pick up something else. Mm-hmm. But I think it's a good bet to have a nice even mixture, because you never know what's going to happen, right? You don't want to put all your eggs in the digital basket and then you lose your digital basket, because that would be pretty devastating.
Why? I don't understand, because the only way you lose your digital basket is if you get banned from Xbox for being stupid.
Yeah, but you don't physically own it, so you could potentially lose. You never know, right? So.
But you own the license to the game. So I think you don't have to worry about that, Graham, because you could go through 10 different consoles, and as long as your account is still in good standing, you have access to the game.
Yeah.
So you're good there. For me, and I'm gonna preface this by saying first world problems, but I look at my Nintendo Switch as something for those times, and I have the physical copies of all those games. Mm-hmm. I think when it's happening, it absolutely sucks, but the 99.9% of the time it's not.
That's true.
It's awesome to have digital copies and not have to worry about where's the disc, or is it scratched, or all that type of thing. Because if you own the disc and then it's scratched, guess what? You might be out of luck. And you might have to just buy a brand new copy of it.
Mm-hmm. Another thing, too, advantage to have a physical copy is you could do trade-ins, too, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So it does have its advantages and disadvantages.
I've found, though, that with trade-ins, it's pretty rare for me to absolutely want to get rid of a game and never play it again.
Yeah.
And
I never get rid of games.
I find with games that I do trade in, after a while, I'm like, man, I wish I had that right now.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy I have digital copies of like every single Halo game. Because whenever I want to play them, and guess what? We just recently went through Halo MCC. 1, 2, and 3, and now we're working on ODST.
Yep.
So I'm glad I have that. Because if I had bought it physically, I might have traded it in by now. So I have it digitally, and I have the entire collection of my favorite franchise, all right there for whenever I want it. I think digital's awesome, but that's just me. I remember the days when I had like so many freaking games sitting around, like in cases. It was just stupid.
It's true. Like if the games that I own digitally, if I had them in cases, I'd need a bigger room.
Oh God, I know.
So if I understand both points of it. Me personally, I'm more of a physical copy guy. I understand digital. It is. I think it is the way of the future. I hope it doesn't go all digital in the future because I still like having my physical releases around just so I can have them on my shelf. I can go to them anytime I need to. I don't have to worry about my hard drive crashing. Digital games are definitely a lot more convenient. I mean, they're always in your library. You don't have to worry about, like you said, finding the disc, reinstalling the disc because it's there. And especially like I have 2 Xbox Ones in my house, and one's in my game room and one's in the living room. If I want to go, play Halo in one room, I have to go take the disc with me and put it on my console. But it's a lot easier if it's digital. Yeah. But I'm kind of on the side with Graham. There are licensing issues sometimes, which you do own the license when you buy the game, but legally they can pull the game from the store at any time, and there has been cases with some smaller games. I don't think it's ever happened with a AAA title, but where the licensing expires on a game and they have to pull it from the store, and you can't get that game ever again. I think one of the more famous titles was Scott Pilgrim. Whenever Universal, they lost the licensing for the game. Vice versa, the publisher lost the licensing for the game.
I got a popular one for you real quick. Sorry, I mean to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
Just to throw that in there. One I love to death that I cannot get back is Gauntlet.
Yeah, Gauntlet for what'd you have it on?
360.
Okay.
Yeah. And recently,
what was that robot TV one where you walk in and just shoot in 4 ways? That one's no longer available either.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Smash TV.
But recently, Alan Wake is an example of that on Steam.
Yeah, that's what
No, they brought that right back though.
Did they bring it back?
Did they?
Yeah, it was only gone for 2 days.
Okay.
They changed the music and brought it back.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's a song in there they lost the licensing for and pull it out. Okay. So so that's the one thing that worries me, because I'm a retro collector. I have a lot of N64, NES, Super NES games, and those things are hard to come by. And I have had 2 hard drives crash before in an Xbox 360 and a PS3. So I keep my consoles. I never trade anything in. I like to keep my copies. I want to go back to them 20 years from now. If I feel like, hey, you know what? I'm with my daughter or something. You want to play Halo? This is a game I played when I was, 13 years old, and it's there. I can load it in, and it works just fine. Sure. I don't have to worry about the hard drive crash. Whether my Xbox works or not. That that's a maybe different story. But I'm definitely on the side of physical. And something else about physical too is pricing. A lot of times with digital copies of the games, yes, we get a lot of sales in stores and things, but physical copies of games typically go down in price a lot quicker than the digital ones. And they stay at the lower price. Like if you were to go in a store, the Xbox or PlayStation store right now, unless there's a sale going on, digital copies of games are at full price. You have to pay the $59.99 for the full download. When in store, it's like $20 or $30. So that's one aspect of physical releases as well as typically, which I hope that change. I hope it changes to where new games are $50 instead of $60, so that way people have more incentive to buy digital games. But who knows when that will happen?
Right.
Yeah, who knows?
But I argue for digital for this aspect, the release. So they got a midnight release. It comes out at 11 o'clock or 10, 9, depending on where you live. See, the last time I went and got a physical copy of a game was Dark Souls 2. And it's just kind of weird just standing there. Some people bring their friends, whatever. It's like, so come here often, and then you got to wait, and then you got to go home and stuff like that. So for me, I'd just rather buy the digital copy so I can just play it. I'm in no danger of my account getting suspended and or terminated. So
I agree with you there.
So not only do you have to go buy the copy, but then you have to come home and install it.
Install it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Preloading is awesome.
For example, Destiny 2, I'm going to preload tonight. So it's done and gone, and I don't have to worry about it anymore. And when the game hits on September 5th at 11, I can, if I want to, I can play it.
No, you can't, because it'll be day one patch.
Probably.
But I was gonna say another thing too about physical copies is if you use like Amazon Prime and you get like the discount, like that's kind of an incentive to get the physical disc
Oh
too.
yeah, totally.
But I'll throw this caveat in. So if it's like purely a single player game where I feel like I'm gonna play this and then once I'm done with it, I'm kind of done, I'll go disc on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if it's something where I feel like I'm gonna get 100 hours or more of time on this, like sports games or like Destiny or Battlefield or games like your Battlefront this year, games like that, I'm getting the digital copy of that game. So, but I might very well for like Wolfenstein, I might get the physical. Call of Duty this year, I'll probably get physical. So. There's a caveat. There's difference, I guess, from game to game for me. But here's where I'm a total hypocrite. Movies, I'm the total opposite. Movies, I want the actual disc, and I want the case.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I like having the collection and all that stuff. So I totally get that it would just be so much more convenient to have them all digitally and just be able to go click a couple buttons and watch whatever I want. Yeah. But I like having the collection.
Yeah, so, I'm like that with CDs. Like certain bands, I will go buy their CD. Like I don't, like I might digitally download as well, but I'll go buy the physical CD as well because I like having the jacket, the disc, and all that stuff. Yeah. So I'll always buy the CD.
Yeah. I hope we get to a future to where you can buy a physical copy of the game and it comes with the digital version, which I know that there's a lot of maybe some people taking advantage of that, but I'm sure they can come up with a system that it'll recognize that you have to put it in the disc once in a while or something. Yeah, but I hope we get to a day where, like with the movie, some movies I don't even have to open because like I'll buy a movie from Walmart and it's linked to my Vudu account, and it knows when I buy the movie. And it automatically puts in my library. I don't even have to open the movie.
Right.
It just automatically goes in my. So I hope something like that happens with games in the future, to where we get a digital copy and along with the physical. But I'm sure we're far away from that.
Or maybe even a discount. You get it for $10 or 20, like something, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I agree.
All right. Any other questions?
Oh yeah, we have a couple more from the Facebook page. So Brian Richland asked. With the recent SNES Classic pre-order nightmare, do you think there will be enough to meet demand? So we talked about the SNES Classic.
Never.
Do you think no? I agree.
You guys don't think so, eh?
Not a chance. Not a chance.
All right, did they learn or do anything different from the NES Classic?
That's Nintendo.
Because they said they were going to, they're going to look after it. Do you guys think there's going to be another release of, a million or whatever?
Another wave? No. Yeah, there will.
Another wave?
So here's the thing, Graham. I think the only reason I would end up getting one is because you got an extra one.
You think so, eh?
Yep. And I would be shocked. I would put $100 on the table and give it to anybody right now if I ever walked in to work and saw one on the shelf.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
No, they're not going to go that far, but there will be another wave released easily.
I don't think we'll ever see them just sitting around on the shelf. I don't.
I wish we could.
Because there are the people that watch that crap like hawks, and they know when it's coming in, and if there's like 10 of them coming in, they go buy all 10.
Yep.
And then they go sell them online.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't think I'll ever see it sitting on a shelf.
No.
I know I was able to secure one, but I want everyone who wants one should be able to get one.
You're so
because I'm still bitter because I couldn't get the NES Classic.
Right. The problem is that they're only producing this thing for a window of months. Rather, they need to be supplying this thing throughout the year until the next one releases, and then they could maybe meet demand.
But
Yeah,
their
I would
excuse-
still probably buy an NES Classic right now if I could.
Oh, I will.
Yeah.
If I find one. I
Mhm.
just don't know how much I'm going to spend. For it.
Nintendo is notoriously allergic to money. They do
Well,
this all the
no,
time.
they're not necessarily. I mean, I get what
No.
you're saying. I 100% get what you're saying.
They
But
dwell
Nintendo,
on demand.
yeah,
They want
Nintendo
people
lives
to
off
fight
demand.
Yeah.
Nintendo lives off this idea that everybody really, really, really wants what
Yeah,
they're
I
making.
agree with you 100%.
So,
I was watching a news. It was like a news article from the early 1990s, or it may have been late 80s even. And there is an article about Nintendo, how Nintendo consoles were taking over the U.S. and how every family wanted one and everything, and everyone could get a console, but which I wasn't around then. Maybe Tyler, Mike, you guys remember? But apparently, you couldn't buy the games. So like when Super Mario Brothers 3 came out, and whenever
I remember that. I remember.
Zelda came out. In those years, people had to wait in line, and people would travel hours and hours to go to a game store in like New York or Philadelphia to wait at these big toy stores, because not everyone. It wasn't like you could go to Walmart nowadays. You had to go to a specialty toy store at the time, and so I mean, this isn't the only time that they've done this. This is it's been going on for over 30 years now.
so
So I think you're right that they kind of dwell on it, and they kind of live up to it, that they want to increase demand for their product.
I was still pretty young at the time. Mike might remember it a little better, but I do remember one thing from like that time. I don't know why I always had this vision, like memory in my head, but I do. Toys R Us. We were there. And I think, actually, no, it wasn't Toys R Us. At the time, it was called like Children's Palace or something, which now would be like really scary to walk into.
Yes, it would be.
Because that just you might as well the store might as well look like a blank white van, but if you're gonna call it that. But anyway, you go in there and they had like all the games on a wall. But it wasn't the games. It was like a sleeve that showed the cover art for each game, and then there was a pocket where there were tickets that you could pull out.
I remember that. When I was younger. Yes.
Yeah, and I remember
And you had
this.
to take the ticket.
Take the ticket to the counter, and there was like this cage where they had the games, if I remember right. Because the cages existed through like PlayStation 1. I remember doing it that way even through that. But anyway, I remember this. I have this memory of like these adults like freaking climbing over each other and fighting to get to these tickets
Wow.
of games, and it's insane. And I remember my mom was like, "Not a chance. That ain't happening." So I didn't get.
Yeah,
the game,
imagine if
but-
you had to do that nowadays for Call of Duty.
Oh,
Had to
man.
fight people over. I mean, you can find any game you want to. You just have to look for
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Games aren't a problem to get anymore, and digital has partly played a role in that.
Yeah.
So there's no problem getting a game physically anymore.
Well, I can tell you this about the 80s, my friends. In Southern California, there was a stereo shop, I guess it would be like a Circuit City, but just not as nationalized. It's called Federated, and these commercials were very unforgettable. But what the deal was is you'd walk in and they had like 2 Nintendos set up, and of course there's 17 kids standing there. But they also had like, I guess like in the electronics department of Walmart these days, they had small, I guess shelves where if you look at the old Nintendo games, they actually had a plastic hanger attached to them, and they would just put them out on these wall, not on like a big wall, but they were small aisles. You could literally go walk up, grab one, stick it in your pants, and walk out. You know, and that happened often. I'm surprised they didn't have Anaheim PD just sitting outside, just waiting to frisk everybody, because it was so easy just to steal them and just walk out. But I remember those aisles being sparse. Like there'd be like one copy of Super Mario, and maybe one copy of like Metroid, here and there. And they never knew when they were going to get anything in, and then you show up and then there's, the whole thing's full, and by the end of the day it's all gone, because mostly everybody stole everything from that shop, and that's probably why they went out of business. But that's how it was back then. Even back then, they didn't have like detectors at the doors and stuff like that would set off anything. So the people who actually used the tickets and put them up on the wall were probably extremely smart. You know.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Well, because all the security devices weren't as prominent then. You know.
No. It was It was still on the honor system back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couldn't do that nowadays for sure.
No, not at all. Not a freaking chance in hell.
And the one thing that I'll give the games industry credit for is like back then I think games were $40.
I can't
if
remember.
I remember right. If I remember right, games were $40, and now they're $60.
SNES games are $40, and PlayStation games are $40. Yes.
And now they're $60, and in any other industry,
And
in any other, well, that's communist
Nintendo.
So,
yeah.
But any other industry though, the inflation would have taken off more than that, and games would now cost $100.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so kudos to the games industry for keeping the prices of games reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look at inflation, games should cost a lot more now than they do, and games are much cheaper
Expensive.
now. No, are much cheaper now relative to where the dollar is.
Oh yeah, for sure. I thought you were
Yeah.
going to say that they're a lot more expensive to make, which they definitely are a lot more expensive to make nowadays. But yeah,
Because
totally.
people had a fit over the Xbox One being $500 in 2013, right? So the one of the most expensive consoles of all time is the PS3, especially when you factor in inflation.
Mm-hmm.
In like $2017, the PS3 is like $900 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there's more expensive consoles in the past. So you go back to the 80s, and there's consoles that are like
Freaking Jaguar. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
the Atari
They're
Jaguar
like
was
they're like $1,500 or $1,800.
Just take my
with
kidney.
inflation.
Yeah, but yeah,
I have no idea
I
how
think
people
that's
afforded
right.
to play games back then.
I know, but I think that's one thing is as fans of this industry we have to remember they've kept costs pretty consistent. And I thought games were going to go up $70 in this new generation. They didn't. So
Glad they did.
I'm glad they didn't, but I mean we all are. But I wouldn't have been surprised if they had, because some games now they spend $500 million making them. Some games, not all, but like
Grand
Grand
Theft
Theft
Auto,
Auto
sure.
was. I think they made their money back, but you know that in that case, but
Still making it.
they're still making it, and they really almost have no incentive to make 6, because 5 continues to rake in money.
Mm-hmm.
They make more money now just off of the the currency that they sell in GTA Online. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of like Ultimate Team in EA Sports. So
They
anyway.
have motivations called shareholders.
Well, that's true, but they're still turning in huge revenue.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
still
as long as
producing
people are
monster
still
revenue.
paying for it, yeah.
I mean, GTA 5 still makes them a ton of money, and there's no more. I mean, they still put updates in the game, but there's no huge development costs tied to it anymore.
Right.
They make money for made up for fake content, for digital content. You know, it's like when I'm gonna open a ton of packs on Twitch tonight for Madden, and I know that I'm just buying like pictures.
Yes.
I'm not buying anything real, but to me it has value because it adds to the enjoyment of the game. So, cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's next?
Last question from
All right.
Dylan Anderson. Where do you guys see the podcast going in the next year or two? Will that meet the expectations you guys had when starting the podcast?
Wow. Deep question, huh?
It's very deep.
Wow.
What's new?
I wish you had told us this one beforehand so I could have thought on it.
First
somebody
it
else go.
was, what do you do for a living? Second, how many kids do you have? Third, this.
So the podcast has been on for over a year, right? And I joined.
Yeah.
When did I join? In October?
You joined, in October, November, somewhere in there. I think your first episode was 23, if I remember right.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's on my calendar. I just gotta look at my calendar.
We
You
started
put me on your
at
calendar?
I don't even own a calendar.
we started at E3 of 2016. So
Yes.
yeah, we've been on for a year and almost 3 months. So who
Yep.
wants to go first as far as the
We went
next
from
year?
3 idiots to 4 idiots trying to make a
Yeah.
podcast. But no, it's been great. It's a great experience. It's get to talk about with things that I'm passionate about, things that I partake in, and stuff like that. and basically want to just grow a big community, and like we're part of a website too, so we want to help to expand that website, and that website to expand us, and just be more out there, and eventually maybe get to like some E3s or something like that, and like have some exclusive content that people will be coming directly to us for, and maybe get some free games where that help it on the wallet.
So, yeah. Eugene, anything?
Yeah, so I was really happy to join the podcast. I met Tyler randomly at like kind of a work training convention. I don't know what you'd call it. But it's really fun to talk about on a weekly basis, like Graham said, what I'm passionate about, and having people listen to you. And it's fun to talk about, and hopefully we gain a wider listener base. I hope we get a lot bigger. That's what the hopes is, and hopefully the website gets a lot larger too.
So tell your friends.
Yeah, tell your friends.
And enemies.
Culture of Gaming, cultureofgaming.com. We put up editorials, we put up articles, and doing some reviews. Recently, I see that Graham, you're doing Shadow of War. I'm sure you're excited to pick that one up. So
yes, I am.
Yeah,
excited.
so it's nice to make a product and to people actually enjoy it, and to tell you that you enjoy it. As much as I like sitting around and talking about video games, that's not why I do that. I mean, I do that at work. I do that at home.
Yeah. I do it when I'm playing games.
Yeah, I do it when we're playing games, but I like it to where, people actually listen and enjoy hearing us talk about them, and then chiming in and asking questions like, what are your kids like, and what do you guys do for a living? I enjoy those types of questions because
interaction.
It's just an interaction. Yeah, exactly. So hopefully we gain a larger fan base and more people to talk to, maybe reach out, and I'd really like to do an interview with somebody big in the industry one day, and meet some people in the industry. That's the ultimate hope of what it comes to be. But what about you, Mike?
Well, I think this is a question that's best answered by Tyler, because Tyler has answered this question numerous times. As far as my position goes in this podcast, I really try to lighten things up a little bit. Bring a little bit of comic relief to everything, so it's not so serious business. Where are we going to be in a year? Where do I want us to be in a year? Well, I want us to grow, grow as a team, grow as a podcast, grow as a community. As I am getting older and older, I tend to have very less broadened flavor or what's the word I'm looking for here? Taste in games. I find myself gravitating towards games that I previously would not have been so into. Answering this question is just as simple as saying I want to see this thing grow, and I know what my position is here and why I do what I do. And I came on to this podcast because this was something that Tyler really wanted to do. Excuse me. So we sat down, and we talked about it, and we figured out everything, and we worked out the kinks, and we're still working out the kinks. Like we don't do the what have we played this week, because it's always the same thing. And so instead we do questions and Q&A and stuff like that. But like I said, and I'm just talking in circles here, Tyler is the best one to answer this question, hands down. So Ty.
Okay, so
you have enough time to prepare.
I've bought as much time as I can. All right, Dylan, if you want a deep answer, I'll do my best for you here. We started this with some clear goals in mind. Actually, well before last June.
Yeah, well,
and
more like May,
it was
June of 2015.
It took a while to kind of get everything together and get going, and we met Graham in the interim, and really had fun, just chatting with him, playing with him, and I asked him if he'd be interested in doing it, and he said yes. So he came on. We did, 7 to 9 practice episodes before we went live with our first one.
Yeah.
And someday we're going to set up Patreon, like hopefully soon. And one of our rewards on Patreon is going to be like listening to that first practice episode. And not
Yeah.
and actually I take that back. Not the first one because I screwed up the first one and didn't record it.
Yeah,
Yes,
did
you
not-
did.
But
I remember that.
so that was also to help us learn like the technical parts of doing this too. But
Yeah.
the first/second one, the first one's actually recorded, and I feel like we have come a long way in the last year and 3 months. I think that we're a much better show now than we were in June or July of 2016.
Mhm.
But that's not to say we're done, and it's not to say that we're done improving or getting better, and we appreciate any feedback and whatever that you guys have. We love that we have questions to read every week. That means you guys are involved and taking part. The rewards that we've gotten from this, at least for me, have been some that I thought it would be and some that I wasn't expecting. The friendships that I think we build, not just with each other, but with people that listen,
Mhm.
For sure.
are pretty awesome. And and we're happy to play with and talk to anyone that listens to the show. So if you ever want to, please contact us. Let us know. Between the four of us, we pretty much love every single type of game. So there'll be somebody to play with, right?
Yeah.
And also, like, I'll tell you, the coolest messages I've gotten are the ones that are like, hey, I like drive a truck for a living, and you guys really help me like get down the road without driving myself insane.
Yeah.
Because drivers will make
That's-
God knows.
insane.
God freaking knows. I know what it's like to drive across the United States. F that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or like, no names here or anything, but or like I hate my job and you help me get through my work week, or something like I've battled depression and you guys have really helped with that.
Right.
And those are real messages that we've
Yeah.
seen on
Those are real
on social
messages
media.
that we've gotten.
Mm-hmm. What about the one where I hate you 3?
I think
So-
you wrote that.
So yeah, you did. But I know you're trying to lighten up right now. Those messages and that feedback means more to us than you guys ever know.
Yeah.
Um,
That's
Absolutely.
and we might not always have the time to like respond to every single person. And when you guys leave us something like that, but trust me, it's always read and it's always appreciated.
Yeah, we're
Mhm.
definitely active.
Our goals are to make this whatever we can make it. That's why we joined the website that we did. And that website's gone through, had a couple hurdles since then. And we're still committed to that and doing the best we can with it and trying to make it as good as we can and helping them be as good as they can.
And that site is cultureofgaming.com.
Culturegaming.com, yes.
Just throwing that out
But,
there.
yep. Our goals are to go to E3 next year. Our goals are to get a Patreon up towards the end of this year. Our goals are to have a consistent website other than Facebook up and running, sooner rather than later. Our goals are a lot of things. Like Eugene said, I would love to have my golden goose is Phil Spencer to get on the show. Phil, if you're listening.
Without kidnapping him.
Without kidnapping. We're not going to kidnap you, Phil. We love you too much for that.
It's true.
But we don't love you quite enough to kidnap you. It's not going to be like the movie Misery.
Ooh.
No.
Jesus, talk about dark.
I know.
Dang.
That's a good movie though. But it is rather dark. So we have a lot of goals, but here's the thing. We can only do so much with just between the four of us.
Right.
Every great thing we've accomplished and achieved has been because of the support we get from everyone out there. And that's just true. That's not pandering to you guys.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
That's just the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So we've grown because you supported us. We've grown because you've told your friends. We've grown because you're active on the Facebook community. We've grown because when we ask you to go read this crazy website we joined, you've done that. We've grown because of those things. So the more you continue to do that, the more you continue to support us, even when we have a crappy episode, because those are going to happen.
Yeah, they are.
They are. And it's okay. I mean, it's just part of life. Everybody has bad days. So
Yeah, just it's really sometimes it's really hard to turn it on. Sometimes in some episodes you'll hear me, throwing jokes left and right, or messing with Graham or whoever. In some episodes I'm checked out. It all depends on what happens in real life, and just like everybody else, we get affected by it.
Mm-hmm.
So we just sort of just trudge through it, and other members of the podcast, they pick up for the rest of us. So that's just how it goes.
But here,
The show must go on.
But to piggyback on what Mike said, to kind of wrap up, the reason that because we have crappy weeks at work too, we do, and Eugene and I do the exact same thing, just in different places. So we can relate with each other a little bit on that, and there's crappy days. You guys have it too, Graham and Mike, but the reason that even after a crappy day, we still come on, ideally on Thursdays. Doesn't always work that way.
Hey, we've been pretty consistent.
We have lately.
Join us next Thursday.
So, yes. But ideally on Thursdays, to bring this to you is because of those types of messages you sent us.
Yes.
Because
let me say something real quick.
Yeah.
Like when Goose, my dog Goose, dropped unexpectedly and died after one of our episodes. He's perfectly good before and then dropped. And I got a lot of messages,
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that. So you guys that are listening are, I still don't forget that to this day. So, so we try to put a good product together for you. Sorry, Tyler. Go ahead.
But just to finish up the thought, even when we have crappy days and it's time to record, it's not like, we just got to get the podcast done. Like, I genuinely feel a responsibility to the people who send us the messages of somehow, some way, the four of us speaking our stupid stuff every week have an impact on what you do. And if we don't, great. If you just like to listen to us for stupid stuff, cool.
Yeah, cool.
We're happy that you listen. It doesn't. You don't have to listen to us for some deep reason. But for those of you who have sent those messages,
if you're just listening to us while you're taking a shit, we're fine with that too.
I'm cool. Hey, as long as you hit download, I'm good.
I judge you.
So,
we don't have to
we do have goals. We want to get bigger. We want to get better. We want to do more. We can go as far as you're willing to go with us, and that's really it. So, long answer to a short question, but there you go.
There you go.
Aye, aye, Captain. So,
thank you for that question, Dylan.
Yeah. Nope, that was it.
Blimey.
All right. And Dylan keeps asking more and more deep questions. Next week he's gonna want our social security numbers and all that stuff. So,
yeah, I know.
Wants our address, come over for a weekend.
I know.
What medications are you on?
Wait a minute. Yeah.
So, all right. That's gonna do it, everybody, for episode number 68. We keep marching up. And
we do.
We should be close
69,
to 100.
dude.
Oh boy, we're gonna just have to skip that. No, we'll be close to 100 by the end of the year, though, which is pretty cool.
This is the call.
So episode 68 is done. We'll be back next week with episode number 69, everyone. For those of you who are mature enough to handle it. And yeah. So. Just a reminder, head on over to Facebook and join the Gaming Culture Radio forums and take part in the conversation there. Submit questions to be read on the show. If you do so in the next week, you'll be entered for a monthly giveaway, which we're going to have next Thursday night during next week's episode. And also for all your gaming news, head on over to culturegaming.com. Again, culturegaming.com for everything on Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, and PC, including everything from Gamescom this week. So, for Mike, Graham, and Eugene, I'm Tyler saying thank you so much for joining us for episode number 68. We'll be back next week with episode number 69. Until then, everyone, stay safe, have fun, have a great week, and play some great games. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, everyone.